Alright, so this is my second review of the Spartan Smart Manifold. So far, I am pretty much extremely happy with it. I have had to recalibrate the pressure sensors two times. Two times when I turned them on, it was reading like -5 psi, but admittedly, I was turning them on, and the equipment was probably 20 degrees in a 30-degree room, and it does stay clearly in the instructions that the operating temperature was between 32 and 115 or whatever, storage temperature down to 0. So I was operating them outside of the temperature sensor specs, or the operating temperature specs anyway. And it makes sense that there would probably be like a range of optimal temperatures for any given sensor, and that they would pick above 32 degrees for refrigeration sensors or air conditioning sensors, considering the primary workload is going to be in that thermal range. I do commercial refrigeration, so I will be using them in colder temperatures. So that means I have to recalibrate the sensors, and that they might be a little bit less accurate and outside of that temperature range. That might be these aren't my only gauges, but that might be the burden of them. Otherwise, I did a pressure test on them. I did a vacuum test on them. I did a vacuum test with all the. What is nice is the micron sensor. You can have every valve closed off. The micron sensor must be outside of the manifold, because if you just have a hose connected to your vacuum port without the vacuum port open to the manifold, the micron gauge will still read it, which is nice. But what's even nicer, no matter what position I adjusted any one of the throttles, the worst I got was a 10 micron drop relative to what I was doing anyway. So I was pulling, let's say, 180 microns to the port with it closed, and then with, no matter if they were in a halfway position or fully open or fully closed, basically no matter what I did to it, it only went up to 190, which tells me that from a vacuum standpoint, it's a really tight manifold, which is nice because I'm kind of wrestling with different vacuum setup ideas, and I'm thinking I might run my 3/8 metal hose through the manifold to the typical 2 1/4-inch hoses. If the manifold's that tight, I mean, it might be just as fast. I also have a different setup where I can just pump directly from the vacuum pump to the system through a tree, and then have a T and just do it that way. And depending on the size of the system, I might run it through the manifold, and I might pump it directly to the vacuum pump, or I'm sorry, connect it directly to the vacuum pump. But it's nice to have that as an option, to know that it's a really tight manifold, and that I wouldn't hesitate and think I'd be wasting any significant amount of time with connecting my 3/8 to the suction port. And also, I mentioned before that I was upset. Yeah, and there's some discoloration. That's actually my fault. I got this nice case because I had it stored in a place where I had some fire caulk, and I think the fire caulk reacted with the brass. Anyway, I had everything covered up, which I'm happy about, but word to the wise, don't keep fire caulk around brass. You'll get a weird patina. So anyway, this 1/4-inch port and this 3/8 port are both fully open. I thought this was a dead, so that you could just hook up your hose, because a lot of times you'll have that. Like, these go nowhere. But this is actually, you can go 3/8 or 1/4-inch, and it both supplies to the manifold. I was mistaken before when I thought the 3/8 connection was just a blank. It's actually not, which is nice. So now you have every option you could need. I don't need to step down my my vacuum hose to connect. I can go 3/8 to 3/8 and just leave the 1/4 inch blanked off, and get a little bit better pull that way. So I just wanted to show you know, the equipment, and let you guys know I'm happy with it. Batteries seem to be great. This is the first time I've recharged it since, and quite frankly I don't even have to. I haven't had an issue with the touchscreen, with gloves, or anything like that. And like I said, for me, what's most important is I can easily recalibrate the sensors, and I will be, you know, really interested to know, operating within the normal temperature range, if I don't have to recalibrate them frequently, that'll tell me, you know, all right, great, they're high quality equipment. If I have to continuously recalibrate it, that might be a red flag. But recalibrating it outside of the temperature range, and then having to do it again, considering it was originally set, you know, outside of specs, makes sense. So hopefully in the summertime, inside spec, I don't have to recalibrate them at all. But again, it takes 10 seconds, so I'm happy. It's a nice tight manifold, and yeah, it's everything I want. Real happy, and got this nice case for it. So plenty of room for all my vacuum pump stuff, some Loctite, different hose combinations. You know, I got all my hoses tucked in back here, and it just kind of works. Alright guys, I'm gonna let you go. Just wanted to give Mastercool and their Spartan product a shout out, because it's made me happy thus far. Price is right.